We thought he sold meat. We were wrong. Part 1. Beyond the Veil, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and share to my horror stories channel. Nobody warns you about the knock that changes everything, not the loud, urgent knock of emergency, not the frantic hammering of someone in obvious danger, the quiet one, the patient one, the knock of someone who has been standing outside your door for a very long time, watching and waiting for exactly the right moment to let you know they were there. That is how this story begins. With a knock, with a stranger carrying a secret too heavy to hold alone, and with a name that people in a certain part of town only ever said in whispers, if they said it at all. The man they called Mr. Meat. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I am your host, and tonight, we do not look away. The night it started. It was supposed to be a quiet evening. Sean, Gully, and Bully had the whole night ahead of them. Video games lined up, nowhere to be. The comfortable ease of three friends in a space that felt safe. The kind of evening you never think to hold on to, because you assume there will always be 1,000 more exactly like it. Sean had stepped out on his scooter for a simple errand, cold drinks from the corner shop, a 2-minute round trip he had made more times than he could count. His scooter, the short road, the familiar shopfront. Nothing unusual, nothing to prepare for until he parked and heard his name. Not called loudly, not shouted across the street, spoken low and deliberate from directly behind him. The way you speak someone's name when you have been watching them long enough to know exactly when they will stop moving. Sean turned slowly. The man standing under the pale flicker of the street lamp was large, heavy-set, with a thick, dark mustache and eyes that sat too deep in his face, giving nothing away and taking everything in. He did not wait to be acknowledged before stepping closer. He moved with the quiet certainty of someone who had already decided how this conversation would unfold. My name is Uncle John. I am your neighbor, into the dark. The road toward Mr. Meat's territory felt like driving downward into the earth. Streetlights disappeared behind them, one by one. The road narrowed, trees pressed in from both sides, dense and lightless, their branches reaching over the car like arms preparing to close. And then silence arrived, not the ordinary quiet of a late evening, something with actual weight and texture, something that pushed back. No houses, no lights in windows, no dogs, no signs of life. Only the sounds from somewhere ahead, carried on the still air, came the crying of animals. Not ordinary livestock noise, something lower, more broken, more desperate. The sound of creatures who understood on some wordless level that there was no way out. It got under the skin and would not leave. Stop here, Uncle John breathed. His house is just ahead. Sean cut the engine, 4 doors opened, 4 pairs of feet touched the ground, and through the darkness they saw him. Mr. Meat. He was working in the open, completely unhurried under the glow of a single yellow bulb that threw more shadow than light around him. Hanging from iron hooks in the rafters of an open shed were the carcasses of slaughtered animals, still and heavy, swaying in the night air. His cleaver rose and fell in slow, steady rhythm. Thud, thud, thud. He was not in a hurry. Men like Mr. Meat never needed to be. Gully felt the cold pass through him from the inside out. Beside him, Bully's breathing had gone shallow and careful. Even Sean, the one who had never met a situation he could not talk his way sideways out of, had gone completely and utterly silent. I told you, Uncle John breathed. No one can fight him, the plan. They needed to be smart. One person would approach Mr. Meat as a customer, ordinary, casual, just someone looking to buy meat, keep his attention forward, buy the others time to get inside, find the driver, and move. I will go, Gully said. Sean was already on his feet. I am going with you. No argument would stop him. Gully knew better than to try. They walked out of the shadows and into the light together. Mr. Meat looked up, his cleaver stilled. His eyes moved from Gully to Sean, then back again, slow and measuring, missing nothing. Uncle, Gully said, keeping his voice loose and easy. Do you sell by the kilogram? We need about 1 kilogram. Mr. Meat stepped forward. Minimum 5 kilograms. And Sean, because Sean could never quite stop himself, said, 5 kilograms of pig. What are we going to do with all that? Feed it to the dogs. Silence landed like something dropped from a great height. Gully spun and grabbed Sean's arm, but the words were already out, already suspended in the air between them and the man holding the cleaver, impossible to pull back. When Gully turned around, Mr. Meat was no longer behind his counter. He was right there, one arm locked around Sean like iron, cleaver hanging loose and easy in his other hand. His eyes, when they found Gully's, were flat and patient and completely empty of mercy. "You do not eat meat here," he said quietly, "and you are not buying anything." His grip tightened. Sean's breath caught. "Tell me who sent you, right now, or I take his head off and hang it up with the rest." Everything falls apart. Behind the tree line, Bully watched it all happen with horrible, precise clarity. Sean caught, Gully frozen, Mr. Meat in total and absolute control. And if the butcher discovered there were 2 more people hidden in the dark behind him, that this whole approach had been planned and coordinated. Sean's life was over before anyone could cross the yard. Uncle John crouched beside him, barely making a sound. "He figured it out," the old man breathed. "I warned you. He is not just violent, he is clever." Bully shifted slowly into a better position and caught Gully's eye through the dark and signaled hard, "Run! Get out! Go now!" But Gully could not run. Sean was right there, inches from something that could not be undone. If Gully moved, Sean paid the price. Mr. Meat leaned down until his face was close to Gully's. "If you want your friends alive," he said, each word placed with deliberate, unhurried weight, "you will open that door and you will walk inside with me." In the shadows, Bully was still signaling. "Run! Trust me, run!" Gully looked at the door, at Sean, at the door again. And then he pushed it open. The twist. Mr. Meat turned to shove Sean through the doorway. First, 1/2 second, one narrow opening. Gully ran, not toward the road, not toward the car, into the forest, deep and fast and fully committed, branches tearing at his face, darkness pulling him in. Before Mr. Meat had even fully registered what was happening, the butcher shoved Sean through and slammed the door. He turned toward the trees. He did not shout. He did not rage. He simply walked to his vehicle, started the engine, and drove into the forest after Gully. Calm and methodical, the way a man moves when he has done something like this before and already knows exactly how it ends. The headlights vanished between the trees. Bully moved instantly, sprinting toward the house, but before he reached the door, it burst open from the inside. "Oh, Sean, not that way." Bully grabbed him hard and pulled. Mr. Meat went left. "We go right. Now." They ran. The choice. Uncle John materialized from the dark, face gray, breathing unsteady, trembling in a way that had nothing to do with the cold. "He drove right past me," he said, "so close I could have touched the car. He did not see me." Bully gathered himself and spoke in the flat, direct voice of someone who has burned through all patience. "Uncle, 2 choices. 1, you leave with Sean right now. You go home and do not come back. Or 2, you go into that house, take your truck, load what animals are still alive, and be gone before Mr. Meat comes back through those trees." Uncle John stared toward the dark house. Something moved behind his eyes, quick and private, a calculation that had nothing to do with his missing driver. "I cannot leave the truck," he said. The desperation in his voice had been replaced by something harder and colder underneath. "That truck is my livelihood. I am going in." Sean stared at him. "And your driver, Uncle. You have not mentioned him once tonight." A pause that lasted exactly 1 beat too long. "Mr. Meat will have already dealt with him," Uncle John said flatly. "We have no time. We move now." Something cold passed through Sean that had no name. They went into the house. What was locked away? The smell reached them before the darkness fully did. Iron, rot, something beneath both of those, older and heavier, with no name in any language that could make it any less disturbing. Bare stained walls, tools hanging from ceiling hooks, a floor that held its secrets in dark patches that no one looked at directly. They worked fast and without speaking. Uncle John positioned himself on the truck, while Sean loaded the surviving animals one by one, heavy and frightened, pressing hard against being moved, crying in that low animal register that made the air feel even thicker and more wrong. One by one until Uncle John called from above, "Just one more." Sean turned toward the final animal and stopped. A sound, faint, half swallowed by the walls, coming from behind a heavy wooden cabinet at the end of the corridor, pushed so hard against the far wall it seemed placed there deliberately, permanently, to prevent something from ever getting out. Weeping, human weeping, the quiet, exhausted, utterly broken kind that belongs to someone who stopped believing anything would change a very long time ago. Sean went completely still. Then he ran, Uncle. Someone is locked behind that cabinet. Someone is in there crying. They both went. Uncle John pressed his palm flat against the wood and knocked. Who is there? Who is inside? The weeping continued without pause. Nothing answered, no name, no words, not even a shift in the sound itself. Just that hollow, ancient grief, bleeding through the wood like water finding its way through old stone. Uncle John stepped back. He tilted his head. He listened with the focused stillness of a man approaching a conclusion he has been steadily avoiding. And then he said quietly, with complete and certain calm, "That is not my driver." Sean looked at him. "Then who is it?" From behind the wall, the weeping swelled louder, as though whatever was sealed inside had heard the question clearly, had finally understood it, and had absolutely no answer left to give. The darkness of Mr. Meat's house pressed in from every direction, and neither of them moved, cliffhanger. Somewhere deep in that black forest, Gully is still running. Mr. Meat's headlights are somewhere behind him, between the trees, moving without panic, without hurry, cutting through the dark like the gaze of something patient and inevitable that has all the time in the world. Inside the house, Sean and Uncle John stand before a sealed wooden cabinet, listening to something that should not be there, something that will not speak, something that Mr. Meat chose to lock away and leave behind. Who is on the other side of that wall? How long have they been there? And what did they see? What did they survive? That made Mr. Meat decide they could never, under any circumstances, be allowed to leave? The answer is before you go, where in the world are you watching this right now? Drop your city, your country, your town. In the comments below, I read every single one, and I want to know exactly who is sitting in the dark with me tonight. If this story sent something cold down your spine, smash that like button right now. One tap. That is all it takes, and it means everything to this channel. And if you are not yet part of the Beyond the Veil family, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now so you never miss a single story, new horrors, new mysteries, every single week. The veil is thin, friends. Stay close. Beyond the Veil